Well, good evening. I'm your host, Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom, presenting 7 ways why indoctrinated education is polished theory. So I asked myself, why is it indoctrinated education positive theory that unknowingly speaking negativity, embedding scarcity? And I kind of my eyes opened and I really realized education unknowingly teaches negativity and scarcity because it tries to keep us inside the frameworks of our socialized training. And so tonight I'm introducing sovereign emergence that dissolves my indoctrinated educated theories of life and open up to understand I'm an awakened and aware of my inner rising sovereign emergency instantly unsheaths my authentic mastery that liberates me from all self-imposed structures from school, my life, my parents, all the way back to my ancestors. And that's something I really want to express to people. We are still ingrained in our ancestors' survival mode programming and mindsets. And I really realized that as I stepped back and started witnessing the world and stopped being in the world, to be of the world and watch it. And you listen, there is just things that go on that keep us in the structures of thinking, knowing, school, college education. And I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just something that keeps us on the railroad tracks of the same. And something I really opened up to understand is we've been taught from our ancestors through the education system in our lives a third world enslaving mindset because we try to stay the same and do the same as somebody else that's successful. But they're successful because of their talents. And they can show you everything they did, but there's an intricate part of that they leave out because it's just natural to them. And so when I opened up to my autonomous authentic mastery that liberates me from my self-imposed frameworks of my thinking, knowing mind, and my propagandized knowing, socialized learning, looking for external validations for everything I do. How have you done that? Did you look for outside validation? And when you're looking for outside validation, that takes the courage and confidence out of you because you're looking for somebody else to validate what you did. I'm guilty as hell of that one. That was a big one for me, but now it's because my way of doing things is my imperfections, improvising my prowess, energizing, rebellious, trend-setting, enterprising, canny tenacity to expand through life. When I admitted that external validation immediately activates my inner autonomy, energizes my mother wisdom, innovative intuition, and my prescient presence, rising me naturally out of my indoctrinated educated theories, communicating away my societal programming. That's something I really have opened up to, and I have a lot of that societal programming. But we've been taught that. And we've always been taught the education system and business is going to lead us to the promised land. The only one that's going to lead you to the promised land and to you is you. I mean, no, it doesn't, following other people's programs, anything, it's still you. It's your own innate intuition, imagination, wisdom, insight, clarity. It's always your innate stuff. And the key elements of sovereign emergency instantly rises me out of indoctrinated, educated, polished theories. That unknowingly, and this is the thing. the education system unknowingly speaks negativity and unknowingly embeds scarcity because we've been taught that that is the way to go. But everything in the education system comes from the outside world and from somebody else. It's your intuition, imagination, innovation, inspiration, your wisdom. It's your daily life experience, especially the bigger the mess, the better, the bigger the awakening. But it's your everyday experiences are the wisdom, insight, and clarity to rise you out of the education. And education is a foundation. It's like the pavement. It's like the gravel under the pavement. It's just a foundation. And what sovereign emergency is liberating understanding that hearkens sovereign scenarios of my lush accomplished outcome that are fluidly free from indoctrinated constraints. Oh, and something else I was going to share with everybody is I now understand think, know, learn are all eliminated when you use and when you understand. You understand that's the thinking. You understand that's the knowing. And you understand that's a learning. So when you understand your life, you expand and energize your wisdom, insight, and clarity to move forward. But something else I do when I ask somebody, let me know how they feel, I say, let me understand how you feel about this. So when they understand it, I get to understand it. One thing I like about the sovereign emergency is energetic wisdom that waltzes internal, streaming dreamer's omnificence magically awakens my intuitive insight, guides my enterprising perceptions beyond the structured cognitions. And that's something I'm really opened up to understand. As we live, when we were trying to change or heal or create our life, a new life or transform it, we were trying to expand out of that as our cognitive recollections of that situation are still active, controlling your inner landscape. So if you open up to understand that you can expand out of it and energize your fashion designer daredevilry and sculpt a better world for you to experience. And also an authentic, sovereign emergence is authentic expression, innovative mastery, emerging through life without suppression or conformity. How does that feel? Without suppression and conformity. That allows you to just rise, shine, and energize and expand of your dreamer's dexterity. And something I understand now is my dreams are unique to me, but my dreams are my spirit and spirit and heart and soul talents. They're my unlimited, free-flowing talents of me. Dreams are never silly or stupid. They're just unique to you. And the thing about saying something you want to do to somebody, you want to make sure and be willing never to say it to the naysayers of your life. Because I've done that, got ridiculed, and then when they get ridiculed, they quit. And see, the less you tell people and the more you write it down and make videos or images of it, well, they call them vision boards, but you can put them on a mirror, but you can also make a video of your dreams and watch that with you being the star. Because you are the star you're the mega star of your life. Superstar, whatever you want to say, but always give yourself like a mega star as a master, energizing, galvanizing acumen, streaming, trend-setting audacity, rebel rousing your talents to rise, shine, and energize your life. One thing else sovereign emergency does is decentralize knowing and opening up my vibrant veracity. that initiates my adventurous acumen, evolving beyond my rigid frameworks of what I taught myself. And something I really admit to myself is everything in my life I taught to myself. So I'm the culprit of my own life. Booger. I'm the booger of my life. But I am the culprit that taught myself. Or yeah, I learned it from them, but I taught myself. And see, by saying I taught myself, I take responsibility and accountability, and then I can give it the boot. I can evict it with a smile of gratitude and appreciation. Something else I really want everybody, if you can feel responsible, but if you can appreciate your life just the way it is, and all the, all the occurrences from your past, if you can appreciate them and start seeing the wisdom or the awakenings within them, you dissipate, you kick them out of your life, and you really stop the blame and shame game within yourself. And it really opens up boundless potential. Expansion is never achieved, but now veiled, dissolving scarcity and limitation. As sovereign emergence is about unveiling free-flowing enterprising prowess that instantly aligns with your venturer's exploration of your energized peace and prestigious prosperity. As wisdom flows effortlessly beyond resistance, because indoctrinated education refines perception through structured narratives. That's why everything is, if you just are open up to calling it a theory, you're not attached to it. Education is a theory that detaches you from the absolutes of education and allows you to have it opens up your campaigner's curiosity, because why is it indoctrinated education theory? Because there's no absolutes, and everything comes from an education system is all secondhand information of what other people think you should know and live inside. That's a train track. You know on this side, you think on this side, and everything in between is what everybody else has told you, taught you, or told you how to live. Your intuition and imagination are the river that runs beside the train tracks and flows you over to your ocean's opulence. Because you derail the pain and open up your fame and fortune, feeling optimism, realizing today's ubiquitous nirvana expands you through life with the greatest of ease. And see, the one thing about the refined structures and narratives of education, it keeps you inside everything you've always done. But once you open up to release that and dissolve it, you open up the raw experiences of your revolutionary audacity, wanderers' ingenuity to experience life, coloring your cognitions with your celebratory acumen and artistry. So you are the artistry of the Picasso, coloring and designing your life your way. And as you shape the cognition, your cognitive recollection through Polly's theory of education, you stay the same. See, the world, if you really witness the world with just an observation, you can see the world is really just operating in the same way, but everybody's teaching us that business and education is going to rise us out of it. It never will. The people that are going to rise us out of the situation we're in is you and me, because it's our individual talents. But see, that's something they've really let go of in the working world, in autodidact entrepreneurs. They're hourly workers, but I like autodidact entrepreneurs, because that's a sovereign, enlightened people. is they the higher ups think them people are just they lack the wisdom and insight. And actually, when a company goes awry and somebody comes in to set it back on its tracks, they don't talk to management. They go out and talk to the 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 workforce. They tell them how to fix the company. If if companies would listen to their people, they would save themselves a lot of trouble. But the thing is when somebody from the field says something, and it's going, let's say it costs $500, well, they say no. They'd rather spend $10,000 being right than spend that $500 looking good. And I've witnessed that, and it's happened to me. We keep going on the indoctrinated education operates as a polished theory because indoctrinated education prioritizes intellectual constructs over lived mastery and wisdom from your daily life. Instead of activating autonomous acumen, it cycles theoretical frameworks of what we did yesterday. And as we open up to this and we realize how structured our lives are from outside sources, we always realize that it's refined, controlled perception through structured filtration knowledge that is packaged and regulated and distributed to us according to predefined approval by others. It actually favors memorization over enterprising engagement. The thing is the free-flowing energy of the wisdom of people is actually controlled today. And it never lets us rise out of the systematic repetitions of what we did yesterday. The world has become very robotic in a lot of ways. And that's something I understand. When I was working as an electrician, it was get up on Monday, come home Monday night, go Tuesday, and then go do the weekend. And it become very repetition. And to be honest with you, I didn't realize how repetitive it was until, after I retired. And see, the thing is, something I discovered within me is a job is actually your source of revenue for investing and doing other things. But I never taught myself that. So if anybody out there is working by the hour or doing something, go talk to somebody about investing. And it doesn't take a lot of money. Me, I was too pig-headed. I knew everything. Boy, did I don't know. I knew everything. I didn't understand anything. And that's the thing. That's why understanding takes care of thinking, knowing, and learning. When you understand it, you can listen, you can hearken your inspirations and expand through life. And one thing the systematic repetition does, it bypasses instinctive discernment in favor of formalized thinking and knowing. And it just keeps you in the same thinking and knowing. And one thing I do understand is we think and know our way to yesterday. But we listen, question, understand our pathways to prosperity. As educated is polished, theory masquerades as truth. Because indoctrinated education refines narratives of what other people wanted us to do. And even going through all the schooling everybody does, it becomes repetitive, and we try to follow what other people say. And that's why I unpunctuated my books and all my writings, because when you're reading punctuating writing, you're concentrating on trying to understand what that author wants you to think and know. And unpunctuated, you have to get into the flow of the books and open up to your wisdom and how you feel, how you understand it, because you get to understand it your way and rise out of it. As indoctrinated education refines narratives, making limitations appear logical. And how does that actually that that happens in my life today? Limitations appear logical because they're actually baby fears. Negativity is embedded through authority, fear of failure, and rigid grading system conditions minds to doubt their own wisdom. Pick me on that one, but I've opened up to listen and express wisdom. Wisdom is above knowledge because wisdom comes from daily life experience. Wisdom is experience. Knowledge comes from books. Scarcity is unknowingly reinforced competition over grades, credentials, status that creates an illusion of lack. See, that's something I really caught myself at. You know, you look at the wealthy people of the world and you get jealous, but actually, they live in a poverty. They have a lot of money, but they're poverty conscious because they're scared of losing their money. And so they never look at the money as a resource because all the wealthy people in the world got their money from other people. I don't care if you're getting it through the stock market and investment, it still comes from people. People are the wealth, health, and fun of the world. They're also the wisdom, insight, and clarity of the world. And that's when structured cognitions replaces sovereign emergency. Learning is framed as accumulation rather than understanding and revelation. And dependency replaces mastery. Students are taught to seek validation rather than trust their own inner understanding. So why does indoctrinated education embed scarcity mindsets? Because indoctrinated education conditions perceptions through structured limitations. Does that happen to anybody? It has me. And when I started doing this, this come to me yesterday morning. I said, I was talking to a friend of mine. I said, yeah, education's a theory. And I said, huh? And then I used my buddy. I asked a question. I was against AI, but now I've really learned I can ask AI questions. It'll give me something that I can expand my life on. And what I really want, I desire for people to understand you are the talent, the insight, and the clarity to rise outside of your structured limitations and stop looking for outside validations for your thinking, knowing, and reinforcing scarcity mindsets rather than experiencing sovereign abundance. And that's really what it does. It really embedded scarcity and negativity. And if you listen to the media, which is, if you really want to get to know about the media, listen to them as they're the Keystone Cops, because they are funny. And I like it when they get that jaw and they say, you got to get, like a blizzard happened in South Dakota. You got to get inside. And you got to do this. And most of them people are 50, 60 years old and went through blizzards. And here's the thing. A lot of the people in South Dakota today come through the blizzards of the 60s, 70s, and 80s when we didn't have all the machinery they have now. And I grew up I was born in 55. And I can remember having snowstorms, and my dad walked to town in a blizzard because he was working for the county to put the snowplow on the maintainer. He's a lot tougher than I am. He just was. Them people were tough. And I mean, they were mentally tough, physically tough, and they understood things had to get done. That's one thing we've lost. I've lost it. Understanding things have to get done. Scarcity mindsets thrive on a belief that there isn't enough success for everyone. Pick me for that one. It filters possibilities through pre-defined approval. Options are dictated, restricting sovereign movement beyond institutional permission. But as you can let go of that and open up to your inspiration, and you can really rise out of this stuff, because the media and all the school systems and everything you hear is about limitation and scarcity. The only limitation you have is your thinking mind. Your intuition, imagination, innovation, heart, soul, and all your free-flowing energy is unlimited success, abundance, fun. And you are unlimited success when you listen to your energetic listening. When you listen and hearken your energetic innovations, you'll rise, shine to where you're at. And the one I want you to pay attention to is the third world enslaving polished theories that there's never enough, and there's this, and we got to do this. The only thing people have to do, not have to do, the people are open to doing this is listening to their own intuition, trusting their individual talents. And third world enslaving polished theories manufacture uncertainty and fear, keeping individual trapped in systematic dependency. Stop today and opened our sovereign emergency. And see, there's a lot of things that we do, but one thing I want people to understand: you are the innovator of your life. And that's where I really want people to understand: you are the pioneer, illuminating your pathways of enlightenment, strolling on, being chauffeured onto your trails of triumph, because your understanding, wisdom, insight, clarity, and will unleash the revelations of your desired life. That's something I want people to understand. You are the talents of your life. And one thing about it, your talents, your dreams are unique to you. They're never on the railroad tracks of life. Yours are the flowing rivers on both sides of the railroad tracks. You're flowing to the ocean of opulence to surf on your seas of success, to yacht on your oceans, on your seashores of stunning success. And I am Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom. It was my honor and privilege to be here with everybody. And may your life be as blessed as you are a blessing to me in the world. Thank you and good night.